Peter, disappointing result. What's your thoughts tonight?
We knew when we came to see the pitch today, it was going to be tough. The pitch isn't conducive to good football, and I think Montrose, they said that themselves, so that's why they play a long ball game and they know how to play it and they play it well. You add into it the wind. We knew it was going to be a game in two halves, and when we played the first half, I thought we were really comfortable, but maybe Montrose were too comfortable also. We had a couple of half chances from set pieces, corners, and I think Liam Smith looked really good when we got him on the ball, but we couldn't really pass the ball. On the pitch, it's so sticky, and we ended up going long ball ourselves, and initially long ball up to Freddie O'Donoghue and Liam Smith against Kerwaddle and Steves, who've played hundreds of games themselves and want to deal with long balls. They dealt with it really well. We just, I think when we got one opportunity to get in behind them in the first half, and Waddle was already on a yellow card, and a young player, Freddie O'Donoghue, doesn't cut across him and make a challenge. He tries to cut back. That was the problem today. Our decision making at times was very erratic, I would say. Is that down to the pitch, or is that down to the moment that we're in? Losing, that's 4 games now in a row. So second half, it's going to be totally different. They have the win. They just put it long. We had to defend our box. We ended up, I think they hit the bar 3 or 4 times, hit the post. It's not good enough, because when we won the headers, the defenders defended well most of the time in the box. But when we win the header, then their midfield 3, who is Masson that's in there, he's a really experienced player and just battles, wins headers, helps it on. We didn't do that. It's the other side of the game at the moment that we need to really tighten up on. To win battles, no team's gonna give you anything, and we need to make sure we fight for everything. And that's a disappointing thing about the day. There's like a lack of fight, because I'm saying to the players in there, did anybody get booked for a tackle, for anything like that? It was only Brennan at the end, sticking up for young Billy, because all the players are pushing Billy around, and I would love to see that. Brennan Dickinson, has come back in. He's got a great goal and sticking up for the players and all getting around. So, but the other side of that was we never made their midfield really work. I thought that was one of the things we sort of lost the midfield today, that midfield battle. And when we won headers, it was just coming back on us. So there's really plenty of things that we need to improve on. But when you say that, just that bite and that fight to win a battle, and today you come away from home playing against a Gale. We did it last year, not a Gale. Today was quite windy, but we did it last year. Came here and it was a really windy game. We lost it as well. So you need to change up. You can't just be a football inside all the time. You need to win that battle on the other side of the game. And I think I said a few weeks back, it's not just the coaching, and we've got good footballers. It's the other side of the game, and the nasty side. We have to having to try coach players and take it on board. But you can't really coach that during a week. It's when it comes to a Saturday, you're going to match up against your man, and you're going to make it difficult for them. And then can you add a bit of quality to it? And we didn't do that today.
Do you think it's similar to last year, where it was like this league, you need to kind of have that strength and battle? Do you think that's maybe it's hard to say when they're losing, but too good of footballers, so they just need that
Absolutely,
edge.
that's what I'm saying. They'll play, said it to them in there, they will play hundreds of games, the players, because we've got quite a young side, the majority. They'll play hundreds of games if they win the battle first, if they learn that they have to just match a player and say, I'm going to beat you today, match up against them, win the headers, win the tackles. Because if we win the second balls in the midfield, it goes on to our forward, we can then develop play and we get higher up the pitch. But if we don't win that, it's just constantly having to defend them, especially with the wind today. And then when we did win it, we just lumped it long to 2 centre-backs that want to head the ball all day. So I thought Montrose were very good at what they do, and they deserve the win, because we don't deserve anything today because we didn't win the battle.
You talked here about the experience of Masson and Stevens and Waddle there. Do you feel that Queens are maybe just too inexperienced at the minute?
Possibly, yeah. I think last year we found out as well, because we've got to try to have that mix of a couple of players that are experienced, but then we've got quite the younger side. I think Stuart Petrie here has had the same group of players for a number of years that know exactly what is wanted, and as I said, they've played hundreds of games, and there's probably been hundreds of games here. So yeah, but they've managed to bleed it in with a couple of young players. So they're doing okay, but we need to be better. We've got good players, and they can do the other side of the game. But it's taken on board that you're not going to get 2-3 seconds on the ball to make a pass and a choice. You've got to move the ball really quick, because somebody's going to be wanting to kick you. And then on the other side of that, you need to get tighter to them to be able to, rather than just waiting for the ball to come to you, you need to get tight, win the battle. So that's not just today though, that was East Fife. The exact same at East Fife, winning that battle against a big physical side. But we need the players to take it on really quick, because they're the only ones that can do something about it on the park on a Saturday. You can train all week with long balls, but you're training against players that you know, and they probably won't go as physical as what players do on a Saturday. So it's quite hard to replicate. But again, it should be ingrained in you.
I was going to say, how do you get that message through to them then?
Hopefully the argument I just had in the changing room, they take on board. But it can only change on a Saturday. You've got to go out, and I can't keep after every game go, well, it's not every game, it's just within the last 4. I can't keep coming in shouting and bawling at them, because it loses any effect. I think they realise it, take it on board, but it's up to them to come out and show it. We as coaches can help them out with shape and formations and substitutions and trying to get players fit and available for us, so as we've got choices. But they have to go out and win the battle.
Xander McKenzie coming in, looked decent enough in the first half, especially.
Yeah, I thought he looked really well. And it's a shame that I'm having a go saying that we're losing the midfield, but Xander's only trained with us once and was put in there just because of the bodies. I thought he did well. First half he came in, he's only a young player, but he's demanding and shouting from yesterday, even coming in, so that's good. Plenty to work with. He looks a good player. He did fight and scrap, but we need to direct him a little bit more, because he's playing probably off the cuff today, trying to find out how we play. But we thought we let ourselves down in another couple of departments.
He was one player coming in the window for the loans finishes next week. Any more likely to come in?
Yeah, hopefully we've got one agreed that will be one of the co-op loans, and then because we've managed to do a little bit of business with Mark Thompson leaving the club because of the family, a kid on the way, and Harry McLinden going out to Forfar, you'd like to think that getting those players out, you can maybe get a player in. So I'm waiting to hear back on that, and you'd hope that money's available for us.
Obviously it's home next week to Alloa, and it's lost today, but it'd be up against a team that are fairly similar. Yeah,
well, we know about Alloa. Yeah, I think did they say last year that is the record with Alloa good or bad?
It wasn't great. I don't think.
Wasn't great. Well, we need to make an improvement to that next week. But Andy Graham, I think they missed out in the playoffs last year. They started the season really well in the Premier Sports Cup and the season, but they've had a couple of losses. So again, it's early doors in this league. Everybody seems to be beating everybody, so just got to make sure that we win next week. We win, draw. We can't keep losing, because that affects we have, as I said, we've got a young side. It'll affect our confidence as well, and then it's a case of trying to manage that. But players are good enough. The players are good enough. It's up to us to show that.